Welcome. My name is Mahmoud Hmoud. I am the co-founder and co-editor-in-chief of the Arab Yearbook of Public and Private International Law. And it is my distinct pleasure, privilege, and honor to be here in the permanent mission of Jordan to the United Nations with His Excellency Ambassador Mahmoud Hmoud, who is the permanent representative of Jordan to the United Nations, and also a candidate to the International Court of Justice, who I may add is running unopposed. And so we are very much looking forward to his election to the bench in about a month from now. So this is a great opportunity to have an interview with His Excellency the Ambassador and just to explore his views on international law, the court, and his vision for the future of the international legal order. Ambassador, thank you so much for your time and for making this space for us.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad, for giving me this opportunity, and it's a great honor to be a candidate for Jordan for the position of a judge of the International Court of Justice. This is for any international lawyer an ultimate honor that they think they should, well, if they get elected, they should serve the purpose of the court in a manner which serves international justice and the rule of law. So thank you again.
And of course, thank you so much, Ambassador. So Ambassador Oscar Schachter wrote many years ago about the Invisible College of International Lawyers. How would you introduce yourself to the Invisible College?
First, my name is Mahmoud Hmoud. I am a diplomat, a Jordanian diplomat, as well as an international lawyer. For the past 31 years of my career, it's been in the field of international law, and I've been working, dedicated all my life to the causes of the rule of law and international justice. I've been legal advisor for the Jordanian government on international law matters. I was also legal advisor of the Foreign Ministry several times. I represented Jordan in international negotiations for several of Jordan's bilateral and multilateral treaties. I was also counsel for Jordan before international legal tribunals and courts, including the ICJ and the International Criminal Court, as well as bodies like the International Center for the Settlement of Investment Disputes, also the United Nations Compensation Commission. I was a member of the ILC for 16 years, which is an anomaly. Usually it's supposed to be 3 terms, 15 years, but one of the years it was the COVID year, by which the court, the commission decided to postpone their meetings for that year. So it's been 16 years. I've been involved in all of the issues of the court, of the commission, then as a member, as chair of the long-term program of work of the commission, which is essentially the kitchen by which topics are produced, and then they go into the short-term program of work, and I was chair of the commission in 2021. So this is how I would like to introduce myself. It is again a career of international law and diplomacy, and I think this combination is very important to have in the court, in addition to the doctrine and theory, so that this combination of practice and doctrine can bring about the balanced decisions of the court in any matter, and I think it's already there in the court.
Well, Ambassador, there's definitely a long and storied career in the law, so which I'm absolutely sure makes you eminently qualified to join the bench. But you mentioned that you spent 16 years on the International Law Commission. How would you assess the work of the Commission during your time, but also what do you feel about the future of the Commission moving forward?
Well, when I joined the Commission, at that time I was the youngest ever to join the Commission. I think I was 34 then. After that, there was one member who was became younger than me, but it was at the time I had with me as colleagues, for instance, Alain Pelé, Ian Brownlee, and during the first term, and working with such honorable jurists, international jurists, is something that was also a learning experience for me then. The Commission has when I first joined, it was mainly the traditional topics of international law that the Commission was concentrating on. But through the three terms, you can see a shift towards more specialized fields of international law. We looked at issues, for instance, related to individual rights and human rights, the environment, and that showed a dynamic of flexibility that the Commission can work. Even if you're a generalist as an international lawyer, it is important that the Commission also looks into these sectoral fields of international law, because the Commission work has special weight. What they do, obviously, it's eventually the products are left to states and other international actors like international organizations to take the work forward, and whether these become treaties, for instance, or international conventions, or they develop to become rules of customary international law. But the work of the Commission is crucial in laying this groundwork for states to take further action. I think it became, the Commission was very successful and is still successful in dealing with the challenge of having this combined mandate of codification and progressive development, and it has the necessary flexibility to continue to do so. I remember once one of the secretaries of the Commission, he or she was concerned that we might run out of topics, but I think we were able to have more topics to be presented, and I think they have areas of law that they cover. It's a wide spectrum that can serve the international community by the products.
Well, Ambassador, it seems that they will definitely be missing you on the Commission moving forward. But more broadly, are there, looking back on your life and career in the law, are there any jurists? You've mentioned Ian Brownlee, Alain Pelé, but are there any other jurists that have been role models for you during your career?
Sure. First of all, I would like to acknowledge the immense influence that I had from Judge Onal Hassaune. For over the years, he was a guide for me. And first, when he recommended that I pursue my master's degree in international law, and then I worked with him. I had the honor to work with him on issues related to the Jordan and Jordanian governments for several years, and he has a big influence on how I approach matters related to international law. I also worked at one point in time with Sir Arthur Watts, who I value a lot, his discourse and his approach to case analysis and approach to making legal presentations. I also value when I first joined the International Law Commission, late Ambassador Yamada from Japan, who was one of the rapporteurs in the Commission, and the guidance he has given me in navigating the work of the Commission, his demeanor, his approach, moderation in review, and taking all legal interests into account when working on the topics. So that was something I truly appreciate and I learned from.
That's wonderful, and of course you'll be happy to know, and I know that you know this, Judge Hassaune is also the honorary chair of the Board of Editors of the Arab Yearbook. So,
yes.
So we're in good company.
Yeah.
So, Ambassador, the court is now facing its heaviest workload in its history. So as a future judge, but also currently as a permanent representative of the UN, how can the General Assembly further assist the court in discharging its duties and responsibilities?
This is a multifaceted question. The first part of it is essentially providing the court with the necessary resources. The docket of the court has been, as you said, there's lots of cases now, a situation that wasn't there 20 years ago, and it is, sometimes you say, I don't like to use the term, but it's a victim of its own success. You know, states more and more trust the court in adjudicating the cases that, or the disputes that involve them. And that's, made the workload very heavy, especially on judges. When you have 15 judges and you have to review the immense amount of documents and evidence before each judge. To provide the court with the necessary resources is very important to do so, because again, international justice cannot be achieved through the court. In any case, you cannot be fair to the parties if you're not able to read all the evidence, to see all the evidence and analyze the evidence and the documents. The other is aspect, I think, it's the political support for the court in the General Assembly, and that's crucial to take place both in General Assembly and by states as such, and that's through actions, through the resolutions, through implementation of the pronouncements of the court, whether advisory opinions or the implementation of the relevant decisions when they are parties to it. So I think that's crucial. We have an ever-evolving spectrum of challenges that the international law faces. So the court is, as the principal judicial organ of the UN, plays a very important role in respect for the rule of law. So we all need that. If we believe in multilateralism, we believe in the United Nations and the UN Charter to empower the court and keep empowering the court.
Absolutely. So, Ambassador, if we take a step back, of course, the court is the world court. It's the principal judicial organ of the UN. But over the past 20 or 30 years, the international judicial landscape has become much more crowded, which has led some scholars to write about the fragmentation of international law. You also mentioned earlier the work of the International Law Commission in sectoral areas. So we have what some people have called the institutional but also doctrinal fragmentation of international law. So what is your view on how the court, in light of its increasing influence in the system, but also in light of the increasing influence of specialized judicial and quasi-judicial bodies, how do you see the court's role evolving in this new landscape?
It's a very good question. The issue of fragmentation has been identified, by scholars and by the International Law Commission. There's the study that was prepared by former member Kostanyemi and then by the produced by the Commission on this matter. I think the problem is more apparent than real. It's not really a problem for several reasons. One is that courts do defer to each other in terms of jurisdiction and interpretation of the law. And you rarely see a court saying, well, I do not agree with court X or court Y in this matter. I've seen it before. One court, without mentioning which court, said, well, this is the opinion of the ICJ, but we have our own instrument. Well, it happens, but it does, it's rare that courts oppose each other in terms of that interpretation or how they view the sources. The quasi-judicial bodies, this is, the ILC identified them as, their work is evidence of, for instance, rules of customary international law, and what they say and what they pronounce, or their comments in this regard. So they're an important source as such. But I do not see that the views of quasi-judicial bodies, because they have, at the end of the day, their own limited mandate as opposing, for instance, the ICJ. in this matter. So fragmentation, there might be some, some truth to that, but I think overall international law remains a consolidated, integral body, despite this the existence of specialized bodies of specialized courts.
Well, that's definitely very reassuring for the future of the international legal order. So, Ambassador, looking forward, how do you envision your role as a judge, and how do you see yourself on the bench?
If I get elected to the court in May, I will be the junior judge then, so I have to observe and learn once I'm in The Hague. So it's very important that you learn first before taking any kind of approach in the work of the court. At the same time, I will work towards the court speaking in one voice as much as possible. Obviously, as jurists, there's difference of opinions among the judges on legal matters, on certain judgments, and that's very natural. But the important thing is that as much as possible, we as judges in the future, if we get elected, to work towards the court speaking in one voice, especially on matters of the law. Because if there is a division sometimes, this might be perceived as the court being not clear on a certain matter. Some states might take exception through this division in the view. So I'll try to work as much as possible to cooperate with others that we have consensus within the court on at least the legal points.
Well, Ambassador, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you have a very busy schedule, but I have one final question that is more personal, perhaps, than professional. So you have a long and distinguished career in diplomacy. You were ambassador in Singapore, in Washington, and now you're the permanent representative in New York. Do you look forward to moving to The Hague?
Yeah, I was deputy ambassador in Washington before, but obviously I've spent several years here in New York. This is my third posting, first as a PR here in New York. So obviously I will miss New York. Just going down, go towards the United Nations and meeting all these colleagues and discussing bilateral, multilateral issues with them. So this part, which is the diplomacy, it's something I will miss, multilateral diplomacy that is taking place in New York during this time especially. But I look forward to going to The Hague and being part of the International Court of Justice is something which is a true honor, and it's a new chapter in life.
Well, Ambassador, I'm sure I speak on behalf of the entire diplomatic community that you will be sorely missed, but we do wish you every luck and every success in your future endeavors in the election, and we're absolutely sure that the court will benefit greatly from the presence of such a distinguished jurist and diplomat on the bench. Thank you, Ambassador, so much for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed. It's a true honor to be given this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.